So we're here at Northern Arizona Uni, commonly known as NAU. This is my last session and last workout up here in Flagstaff, and it's coming between two races. So I raced an 800 in LA on Saturday, and then I'm racing the big one, which is the Bowerman Mile at the Pre-Classic this coming Saturday. So we're Tuesday. I haven't done a track session at this track yet. We've gone down to Cottonwood, which is like half the height of here, and then Sedona for another one. So it's going to be hopefully like a nice workout, not one that's going to push me too far, just because I need to be a bit careful and more cautious going into race week. But it'd be nice just to round off the camp with one last decent effort, which looking forward to. Getting out this place and getting some more oxygen in me, and a little bit easier breathing would be nice. Yeah, I knew it was going to be tough, and I did some 8 sessions, like a couple of 8 sessions here, and like a 600 time trial that kind of showed that I could run an alright one. But then it's different when you get put in that race situation, and I think if you watch the video, I get dropped so hard in that first 100, which was the bit that kind of like scared me the most. But I wanted to be competitive to try and win races again, and I put myself in the right position. I didn't quite get the opportunity to hit the front because there was just a few too many people a bit wide, and yeah, finishing third was alright, but more importantly I got my Olympic standard for 8, and yeah, I think one of my fastest times I've run. And it's a shame because I don't think I'd love to be able to try and do both in Paris, but the way that it's going in Britain, you have to pick one. So I've got that as like a reserve, I guess, but I'm still going to go for my 15 and hopefully get my standard next week at Pre, or this week at Pre. The most, I'd say, scenic tracks in the world, this, but I think it's prescribed burns, whereby, I don't really understand, but by burning stuff now, controlled, it prevents there being like a bad fire. But yeah, that's coming towards the track, so we'll be inhaling bonfire potentially during the session. But yeah, shame, ruins the views, which I could do with today.
This is the last track session of a 4-week camp here in Flagstaff at 7,000 feet, so quite an important session. The last one before the Eugene Diamond League on Saturday. The session is 8 by 400 with a 45-second pause, and then a 200, and then 3 minutes between each of those pairs. And the idea is it should get slightly quicker throughout, and it should operate either side of 1500 metre pace, which is the relevance for this weekend. I have had a query from an athlete. We'll preserve his anonymity and call him athlete JW, about the comparison with a similar experience at the end of an altitude camp in 2021, just before the Tokyo Olympics, where we did the same volume of work, 4,800 metres of work, and then travelled back, similarly in the way we're going to Eugene, to Gateshead for the Emsley Car Mile, where the anonymous athlete ran like a sausage dog, and he's a bit worried that we're going through the same process here. But I do remember, to differentiate this one, he had his birthday in between, and he also got up at 6 o'clock in London, having broken his journey for his birthday, to attend the press conference which I hosted. So there were a few extra layers of fatigue before he ran quite badly in Gateshead in 2021. I think this one will be okay. So I am VAR. The VAR decision is no penalty. The game goes ahead as planned. Please proceed. Thank you.
If we're doing this at home, it would be a 400, 30 seconds and then 200. But like the main thing of this is the 200 is like a bit more aggressive, because I think that simulates like what the racing is like, where you put a bit of fatigue in your legs from the 4, and then you want to accelerate the 2 to feel like you're closing a bit harder. So I was thinking like 58 and I don't know, 26, 27 would be pretty nice, but I think I'm going to start a bit more conservatively today and just build into them a bit, because it's 8 sets is probably going to start to bite. We're still at like 7,000 feet up here, so we've gone down for some sessions to Cottonwood and Sedona, which is like a nice break from this hellhole of altitude. But yeah, today like we didn't see the point in going down, just save the hour drive and do it up here. So yeah, it's going to be, I don't know, I haven't done a track session here yet up at NAU, but it should be fine. I feel like 5 weeks here is like more than adjusted to the altitude, he says. Let's see what it's like.
What's your take on doing the mile instead of 1500?
I don't like the extra 109 or whatever it is. I think the 15 seems a lot nicer. I don't know, it's because I'm an 8:15 guy. I could do with staying that side of it, but it makes no difference really. It's just like getting in your head that you've got to start from a different point. But it makes like the qualifying times, the conversion between 15 and mile is pretty good. It's like 3:50 for the mile and then like 3:33 for the 15, which works out about right. But it's mainly just like the named races, like the prestigious ones, like Bowerman for example. But when I said I was going to do it, I knew there'd be a pretty good field for it, but not like it is. It's crazy. It's like you're barely missing anybody from what could potentially be an Olympic final. So I've not really got much to lose because I can just have like a free hit out at it without any consequence. So I'm looking forward to it.
Who requested 152?
Not me. I don't know. There's a few like obvious probably candidates. Thing is, at least this strings it out though. That's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Let's get after it. Hard, man. It's not nice up here. It makes you feel pathetic because the paces that feel comfy up here compared to dropping down are just a different world with it. But we use for some sessions it's like this like converter, like I think it's called Jack Daniel's formula, and say for like 800 reps if we were doing them down at Sedona, which is like I think it's like 1400 or 1300 meters, and this is 2100 compared to sea level. Sedona claimed it gave you like 3 or 4 seconds per 800, which I don't know if I believe that. I think it depends on how used to the altitude you are, and after 5 weeks I should be a bit more, but still sucks.
Best 4 is 59.3, best 2 is 26.8. So you need to put them together quicker than that now.
Let's go.
So mate, it's starting to bite a bit. The breathing
60.
mainly.
2 left, easy.
Recovery's tough.
Yeah, you're probably going through in about 27 low.
Yeah.
I know, but I feel like your last one, I know you're on rubber legs, but 30 seconds. Last time round this track, this summer. 3, 2, 54, 55, 58 flat. Last one coming up, last 2. Is it your last effort of the trip? Go, go, go. 26 flat. So 84 flat to finish with, that's good. Done. And no bonfire smoke.
I wish it felt a bit comfier at that sort of pace, but it is what it is. It was all right. It's easy to go mad today and then pay the price at Pre on Saturday. So yeah, nice enough. Last session of my camp and out, just a tiny little race to finish.
Okay. So that was a very, very decent session to sign off with here in Flag, and it's just as well because videographer Josh has given part of his left elbow to this session with a spill on the bike. So there was a lot of commitment shown all round. What I was doing there was adding the 400 metre time and the 200 metre times together to get a net 600 time with the pause. And Jake came down from 88 something down to 84 flat at the end. And that's the key thing looking for in this session. At 7,000 feet, if you can still control both reps getting quicker by number 8, then that's good nick. So I think he's in good shape. We got what we came for. It was a 1,500 metre base session, and we move on to Eugene. Jake had to commit to Eugene from March when he didn't get the Olympic qualifying time in his indoor and outdoor races in Australia. So it's been on the calendar since March. In that time, the field has resembled an Olympic final. Jake's main mission in going there is to get the Olympic qualifying time, but also maybe to surprise people a little bit. Everybody that's anybody is in that race, but he goes into it with a little bit of confidence and a little bit of form off the back of that session.
Yeah, so I've just come in the last few days just to help Jake finish off the altitude camp, sort of help him sort of get over the race in LA at the weekend and then transition into the race over in Oregon at Prefontaine, and I'll go to Oregon with him and just support him with a bit of trackside around that too. Yeah, Jake's physio back home, so it's been a good journey with Jake over the winter. Obviously a few injuries last season kept him out competing, but we've managed to get on top of that and make some real gains in some areas, and he's got a real block of consistency now, and yeah, excited to see what he does this summer.
Yeah, session was alright. It was probably as good as I'd want it to be up there. We go we work pretty hard in our sessions and we leave quite a lot on the track, so for me to have a day like this is needed, because I think, I've learnt before, I think I heard my dad speaking about it, to be fair. I went to front row before Olympics and then came back and raced the Diamond League 3 days later, which is the same distance from here, and was just stinking. So yeah, that was the right level of effort. It was enough of a confidence boost that whatever the pace is for Bowerman on the weekend, I feel like I can try and hang with it and be competitive. But yeah, that's my last session of camp. That's the main thing I'm buzzing for. Doesn't matter how the session went, it's the fact that I'm done. I've got one more run up here tomorrow. But yeah, it's my longest stint probably in Flag. It was nice going down to LA, getting a couple of good nights sleep at sea level, a bit of running at sea level, and then we literally came straight back up after my race. So yeah, it's nice to be finished. It's been the most event-free camp I've had for a long time. This time last year I'd left early because I had already the start of a stress fracture, whereas now my body's in a good place. I've run a good 8, so the next thing now is to run a good mile on Saturday. And yeah, I'm sure by the time this time next week, I'll know my fate, whether it's gone well or not. I feel as though it's going to go well, just because I'm in a good frame of mind, good body and physical space as well. So looking forward to it. But yeah, cheers for joining me for that. And we've bored everybody off. There's no one else stayed, outlasted. I think that's what they say. Whoever's, not that I arrived late or anything, but I'm most dedicated because I'm the last one here. That's what I'll say. It's mad because it's everybody, or who's anybody, has been here the last month. We've come quite a bit later, but because it's such a big town, there's 10 different trail options. There's this track, you can drop down to 2 other tracks lower in Cottonwood and Sedona. So you don't know when people are going to be training. This morning was a bit of a busy one, not when we were on, but beforehand. I think I worked out it's my 13th trip to Flagstaff. So I've spent 13 months of my life here now, which, yeah, I think I deserve a green card soon, right, if I've done that. But I still love coming here. It's always this point where I'm ready to leave, just because the 4th week probably gets like real hard and I get a bit tired. So I'm ready to go home, and I'll go back straight from pre, getting my altitude temp back home, and then I race Stockholm next weekend after pre. And then the week after that, I'm doing a 1500 in New York. So the races come thick and fast, but that's kind of the reward for the hard training and being in one piece. So I want to try and make the most of it and get back to where I left off in 2022. Every race I'm doing at the moment, I'm trying to race, just because that's what I want to do. Is like if I'm on the start line, I'm going to try and do something to win it if I can. It's hard when people are going for fast times as pacemakers, because I feel like that becomes a bit more difficult for me. Like, I'm very good at racing and just a straight race without any sort of help with the pace. But yeah, that's what I want to get back to, is like winning. Like, that's what we do. It'll be tough. I think it took me a while to believe I was actually on the start list for pre, because every time there was previews for Bowerman Mile, I was like, maybe I'll get a mention now. Like, surely I'd get some sort, but it moves on quick. Like, if you don't race in a year, like even if you won Worlds the previous year, it like moves on. And yeah, I kind of am glad I'm going into the season a bit under the radar, because I know the kind of shape that I'm in and the shape I'm going to get to, and I let my legs and my racing do the talking, and hopefully by end of June, July, when it really matters, will be my best running. So I'm going into these next couple knowing that I've still got a bit of work to do, but knowing that I'm ready to go in there and try and be as competitive as possible with nothing to lose, really. No, so I get tagged and stuff, and I get asked a lot about it. For me, that's not really my kind of personality. Like, I get on with everybody I race against, and we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all going into these championships and these races trying to win, and there's nothing you can do, I think. Well, like for me, it's like I don't really get psyched out by what people say, because you have to have a bit more mental resilience than that and a lot more self-belief, which for me, it's like I just go out and do what I can do. And even training-wise, like even if however many people at a race could do that session better, it doesn't matter. I know what it means to me, and I know that if I can get back to my best, then I can be as competitive on the world stage as possible. So yeah, I'm just going to try and let my results talk for me, which yeah, we'll see sooner rather than later if that's the case.